I'm Greg Fossilman Raymer. A funny thing happens when the blinds go up and the antes kick in the middle stages of a tournament. Some players who were very loose in the early going suddenly become way too tight when they realize there's a better chance of going broke on any single hand. And if they're changing gears, so should you. By the time the antes kick in, the average stack has probably decreased to about 40 to 80 big blinds, depending upon how fast the tournament's structured. While stacks in this range still give you plenty of chips to work with, the psychological impact of having a shorter stack causes many players to tighten up as they begin to realize that they can go broke or at least get crippled on any given hand. As a result, players become much more cautious about entering pots with anything less than premium hands. In short, they become more bluffable, which means this is the time when you should start loosening up your game and becoming more aggressive. What's more, your more aggressive play here will actually be more profitable, since there's more money in the pot to win each time. For example, at a 10-handed table, when the blinds are 100, 200 with no antes, your standard 3 times raise will win you only 300 chips if everyone folds. But one level later, when the antes kick in and it's 100, 200 with a 25 ante, the same 3 times raise will now earn you 550 chips when everybody folds. Obviously, you can take more risks when you get 550 from your raise than when you only got 300. The flip side here is that before the antes kick in, each orbit you play at the blinds of 100, 200 only cost you 300 chips. This means it costs you less to do a lot of folding pre-flop and to just wait for better starting hands. When the antes start, the same orbit now costs you 550 because sitting around and waiting for premium hands now costs you more. Loosening up your game at this stage is actually a necessity because otherwise you might go broke waiting. Because of the math and the fact that your opponents are often tightening up their games in the middle stages, you can increase the pressure you put on them by increasing the amount of your pre-flop raises and re-raises once the antes have kicked in. As a general rule, adding an amount equal to about half of the total antes is enough to apply sufficient pressure here. Let's look at our previous 10-handed table, where we were making a standard 3x raise to 600 when the blinds were 100, 200, no ante. Now, the blinds are still 100, 200, but with the 25 ante, our standard pre-flop raise should be 3x plus another 125 or 150 for a total raise of about 750. However, you may find that you can get away with stealing pre-flop without needing to raise more. If so, stick to the smaller amount. Additional post-flop aggression can also be profitable in the middle stages of a tournament. Remember, because your opponent's chip stacks are getting smaller, they are getting more worried about becoming crippled or going broke on any given hand they play. And because most players will only be willing to commit chips to the pot with strong hands after the flop, you can use this to your advantage by putting your opponents to more tournament decisions, by betting an amount that makes them worry about putting their entire tournament at risk if they call. And if the size of your bet isn't enough to give them pause, remember your table image will also be working in your favor since you were playing a tighter game in the early stages of the tournament.